Hi, how's it going? My name's Alan Biggers. Today we're going to be getting into one of my new favorite books called Goin Someplace Special. It's by Patricia Mckissack, and it's illustrated by Jerry Pickney. They've worked together on a couple projects. Mckissack is known for some of her books. She's written over 100 to be specific, but some of her bigger ones are The Royal Diaries, A Picture of Freedom, The Diary of Clote, A Slave Girl, and many more. All of them kind of renowned around herself and kind of her experiences. She grew up during some Jim Crow era laws, and as a black woman that was difficult. And through that she's written a number of picture books and other novels. So this story is about a young black girl named Patricia who lives in a southern city, it's not specified, in the 1950s during the Jim Crow. She embarks on a journey to, quote, go someplace special, but runs into some segregation and racism along the way. So I just want to read some of the passages that stood out to me. This is on page 15. It says, at the edge of the square, she greeted Jimmy Lee, a street vendor. "What's got yo face all clouded up like a stormy day?" he asked, handing Trisha Ann a free pretzel. "Jim Crow makes me so mad," she said. "My grandfather was a stonemason on Peace Fountain. Why can't I sit down and enjoy it?" Jimmy Lee pointed to a sign in Monroe's restaurant window. He said, "My brother cooks all the food they serve, but do you think we can sit at one of their tables and have a BLT and a cup of coffee together?" Then with a chuckle he whispered, "Not that I'd want to eat anything Jesse cooks. That man can't even now scald water." The light changed and Trisha Ann carefully started across the street. "Don't let those signs steal your happiness," Jimmy Lee called after her. The next one is on page 24. Let me get to it. Oh, and here's the picture there. I really love the illustration. And then the next passage is on page 24, and it says, "All Trisha Ann heard was the distant buzz of a bumblebee. What was Blooming Mary talking about?" But as she listened closer, she began to hear her grandmother's steady voice. "You are somebody, a human being. No better, no worse than anyone else in the world. Getting someplace special is not an easy route. But don't study on quitting. Just keep walking straight ahead and you'll make it." And there's a little bit more, but that's kind of the part I liked. And there's the illustration there. So I chose these passages because they really are the best example of a black person's perspective in the 1950s. All these Jim Crow signs of separating and kind of pushing black people down and segregating them. And I think the biggest part for me is the part in the first passage where it says, "Don't let the signs steal your happiness," and that going someplace special is a harder route, but you have to get there. And so to go into some of the text complexity, I would say that the Lexile level is a 730, so that's for 4th and 5th graders. I would say just because of some of the advanced concepts of segregation and context, I would push it up to maybe 5th or 6th graders. I think they don't have any trouble understanding the story at all. I think the book would be perfect for like a middle school history or a social studies course, just so that, it would be a really good intro, a really easy intro into that era of the United States. I think it's important for them to learn their history, even the bad stuff. From a Christian perspective, I think that there's a lot to learn from the tone. The tone really is of perseverance. And in the Bible, many writers tell us that being a Christian will not be easy, but it'll be full of trials and temptations. In fact, in Psalms 130, verse 5 and 6, they tell us to hope on the Lord, and they tell us to wait on Him. It says, "Wait for the Lord, my soul waits, and in His word I put my hope. I wait on the Lord like the watchman waits for the morning, like the watchman waits for the morning." So overall, this was an awesome book, and I definitely recommend it.